Catholics, they tend to be pretty popular, unless you're not Catholic, in which case they're not. I don't really have a big problem with Catholics, other than the general smugness that they carry around with themselves sometimes. But what I do have a problem with is like this recent rise in internet Catholicism, where people who aren't really interested in the tenets of Catholicism, but are more just interested in how it looks to be Catholic. And if there's anything that demonstrates this point, it's this organization called Catholics for Catholics, which is exactly what it sounds like. Also, throughout the course of this video, it might sound like I'm insulting Catholics or Catholicism. For the most part, I'm not. I'm more just talking about this specific brand of internet Catholic. They just recently had their third Catholic prayer for America, which went about how you would expect.
It is an honor for me, and I encourage you to give a warm welcome to the one and only Candace Owens.
In case you're wondering, she didn't say anything of real interest. She just kind of rambled about how she's now Catholic and how being Catholic has changed her life so much. Back when she was a Protestant, now that she's Catholic, she's really doing good now. I don't know why these sort of organizations are so comfortable inviting Candace to their things, because I had never heard of these people until they invited Candace to their third prayer for America, and I didn't exactly have a great opinion of them when I found out about it. That being said, I'm not exactly the target demographic for this event. The target demographic for this event is essentially Protestants who wanted to feel superior to Protestants, so they converted to Catholicism, but they have still yet to read the Bible. Candace Owens, who converted to Catholicism, of course, through the purely spiritual and authentic reasoning of, her husband was Catholic, and so she just kind of did it. But it's truly from the heart. She really does believe this. She also has a history of saying things that don't exactly align with Catholic teachings.
And I said, if I don't get it from the Bible and I can't observe it with my own eyes, I don't stand it as the truth.
Really, Candace, you don't say. That almost, and if I didn't know better, I would say that almost sounds like sola scriptura. But you wouldn't believe that because you're a Catholic. But I mean, they had a whole host of great speakers at their event. They somehow had Matt Walsh at the same event, which I don't know how you're gonna hire a Daily Wire commentator and then also Candace Owens to come to your event. They also invited Joe Kent, who I don't even know if he's Catholic, but he's kind of popular right now on the sort of Candace Owens section of the right because he resigned from being the counterterrorism chief over supposedly the war in Iran. And it probably didn't have anything to do with the fact that he was under investigation for leaking classified information. But other than that, this event's really not all that interesting. What's slightly more interesting is their website, which is just covered in American flags and pictures of the Virgin Mary, so you know it's Catholic. Seriously, this website looks like it could be any evangelical megachurch pastor's website, but it's covered in the Virgin Mary, which makes it Catholic. The only picture of Jesus I was able to find on their website seems to be AI generated, and it's for a Catholic calendar, I guess. Oh, they even have Catholic Bill Clinton on here. I guess it wouldn't be a website if you couldn't sell something on it. They also have a Catholic candle, which is just like their logo pasted on a candle. Could they not even be bothered to take an actual picture of the candle? They just had to Photoshop the image on there. They also sell Catholic wine for the Catholic aunt in celebration of Catholics for Catholics' 3rd year anniversary and 250 years of freedom in America. An award-winning American winery will donate 50% of net sale proceeds from 2 unique wines to Catholics for Catholics in support of our mission to bring the Catholic faith back into the public square through rosary rallies, powerful media, political action, and more. Gosh, I couldn't imagine anything less enjoyable than a rosary rally. All grapes used in these wines are 100% American grapes, estate grown and produced in the USA. So it's like a low quality wine. I wonder what's better, Catholic wine or Hallmark wine? There is actually like a lot of stuff on this website. Alright, let's check out the Catholic view on Zionism and the 1948 State of Israel by Catholics for Catholics.
As Catholics, we articulate Catholic beliefs using the teaching and language of the Catholic Church. When we articulate what we believe as Catholics, we will use the language of the Church, not those outside of it.
What do you mean you're gonna use the language of the church? Yet it's a non-Catholic term, because it's a term for something unrelated to Catholicism. He isn't even really saying anything. He's like, we're not gonna talk about this because this isn't even Catholic. And it's like, no shit, it's not Catholic. I don't think when they were writing up the Constitution for the State of Israel, they were really worried about what Catholics would think of it.
Second, Zionism is a non-Catholic term that is both biblically charged and notoriously ambiguous and abused. The fact of it being biblically charged could not be avoided even by the secular founders of the 1948 State of Israel, who in their own Declaration of Independence framed its founding as part of the realization of the age-old dream, the redemption of Israel. Thus, while some may try to divest the term Zionism of theological implications, it's impossible to do so completely.
I mean, I feel like there's a secular argument for that, in that the Jews 2,000 years ago were sort of booted out of Israel and now they're back. That's the age-old dream. It doesn't have to be biblically related. Although I'm not saying that it wasn't, but it could be viewed through a secular lens. Alright, what else do they got on here? You can send a prayer request to Carmelite nuns. I don't know what a Carmelite nun is, but I have to send in a prayer request. I know he wasn't Catholic, but please pray for Saddam Hussein. He was a good man. I just miss him so much. He was always a delight on the news. He was beautiful. I signed up for their email list, and I wonder if this will get them to stop emailing me. Either way, that's most of the interesting stuff on this website. I know this video was kind of scattered and not very focused, but I don't know. I'm done.